Hi, I'm Karen Wakefield, and I'm a member of the horn section in the Fargo-Moorhead Symphony. I really think the horn is the best instrument in the orchestra. Others will disagree, of course, but we horns are kind of special, we think. The horn's history is really kind of cool. It dates way back in history in 1600s. And the first horn actually was an animal horn. You'd actually just cut the end of the tusk or the horn off and blew into it, and that was your instrument. And then it later evolved, probably early 1700s, into what they called the hunting horn. And I have a Christmas ornament actually here. This is what the hunting horn actually used to look like. It had no valves, it was just metal, and they just kind of coiled it around and clamped it together. This thing actually plays too if you want to try it at home if your parents have one of these. So it's a lovely sound on the instrument. But this is actually what, if you saw in movies, if you ever watch hunts, it actually was called the hunting horn, and they rode their horses and played these, trying to flush out the animals, I guess. Later on, in the mid-1700s, this horn actually evolved into what we call the natural horn. Still no valves. It was still just the tubing, round and round it went, but then somebody came up with the idea of, instead of having lips change all the pitches, they added slides and what we called crooks onto it. It changed the length of the tubing and it made it sound different pitches up and down. It was getting a little easier to play. Finally, somebody in the mid-1800s decided to put valves on the horn, and it made it a heck of a lot easier to play once the modern valves got on the horn. The horn is huge. If I were to unroll this horn, it would be about 17 feet of tubing stretched all the way across. And so we like to have some competition sometimes. Our bassoonist in the symphony thinks he has the biggest horn, the bassoon, but nah, not even close. The horn's way bigger. The horn, because it's a member of the brass family, it can sound really, really loud and brassy. So oftentimes in symphony, I'm in the back row playing that loud along with my colleagues on stage, and it just produces this huge, glorious sound. But the neat thing about horn is that it can also be really, really quiet, really soft, really pretty. And then it can also be kind of somewhere in between, kind of light, kind of playful, energetic. Now the huge thing about the brass instruments, and this is the same for all the brass instruments, trumpets, trombones, tubas, euphoniums, and of course the horn, unlike the woodwind instruments like clarinet, saxophone, oboe, bassoon, we have to produce our sound by buzzing our lips. And in order to do that, you have to be able to do this. And then we take that buzz and we put it on our mouthpiece, and it's a combination of that buzzing of our lips and the vibration and then the airspeed when we put it onto the mouthpiece. I'm changing all those pitches just by blowing faster and slower air, and then my lips keep vibrating. And it's that vibration on the mouthpiece that creates all of the sounds on our horn. So I hope all of you can take the time, have the opportunity to play an instrument, whether it's band or orchestral instruments. You'll find it just opens up a lifetime of opportunities to you. Whether you do it professionally or just on the side for fun, there's nothing like music. You hear it everywhere you go. Some of the most famous pieces are used in commercials on TV. And of course, as a horn player, get your ears open in movies in particular. If you love movies like Star Wars and of course Harry Potter, listen in particular for the horns. We are featured throughout all of that music. So that's the horn. I hope you enjoy music, and if you have a chance, make sure you play. Thanks for listening.
This program is funded by the North Dakota Council on the Arts, the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008, and by the members of Prairie Public.